So Jen is back from Jennifer Evison Consulting. She's been in the digital marketing space. You guys know her. She's one of the key instigators of this whole thing. She's worked with brands in the US. She specialises in social media. It really is her favourite area of digital marketing, and pretty much is what she does exclusively. She's also really passionate about connecting the facets of marketing online and offline together. But today she's here to talk about social ads and pixels. So over to you, Jen. Come on in.
Thanks, Robina. All right. Hey, everyone. So, yes, thank you for being patient with us as the team kind of works through just a few little technical glitches. But we are so far loving, like as Robina said, loving what you guys are posting up in Discord. I've been having a look at the Twitter stream, a few tweets coming through. So I'm going to talk about social ads and pixels today. Now, you'll have to bear with me. I'm doing a couple of technical things. Let me just see if the slide's going to work. Woo! Yay! Okay. So, again, thanks for having me today. I do love speaking at Social Media Day usually. I don't get a chance to speak because we are at a live venue and I'm running around making sure there's snacks and lunch and coffee and all of those good things. So I'm pretty excited to talk to you about social advertising today. As Robina said, my passion point is social media. Love all things digital marketing, but at the end of the day, if I could just play and hang out in the social space, that is what I love to do. So we'll go ahead and kick off. We'll talk about why social ads. So some of this, I know there are a variety of expertise levels joining us today, so some of this may not be new to you. For those of you who are new to social media or perhaps new to social media, and from a business standpoint, I'll just go over a few dot points about social. So obviously your customers are on social media. Current and potential customers are using these channels, so don't make them come to you. Why not go ahead and go to them, become part of that conversation? One thing I always say when it comes to social media, and you'll probably hear me say this a few times during this presentation, is social is meant to be social. So it does give brands and companies a space where they can, for the most part, have a bit more fun, be a bit more playful, probably be a bit more interactive and engaging with their audience instead of just talking straight to them through some other traditional sales or marketing channels. Just a reminder of some stats. So typical Facebook user in Australia spends about 10 hours a week on the platform. I know if you kind of take out what I do for work and then what I do personally, it seems like a lot of time, but yeah, I know my Facebook app is always open and I'm always looking to see what everyone's doing, especially now during these times. Obviously, a lot of my family, all of my family, a lot of my friends are back in the States, and so with no plans on going back there to visit, I am using Facebook and Instagram a lot just to see what they're up to, how they're going through this time. A lot of messaging, lots of video chats, lots of virtual wine dates and coffee hangouts. So back to platforms. Another stat to keep in mind, the average time spent on like Instagram, Snapchat, or Twitter is 11 to 13 minutes per visit. So that's quite a good chunk of time. So when you're thinking about it from a business perspective, it does give you that opportunity to get some quality messaging in front of your targeted audience. Your customers will be more receptive to your marketing messages on social media. Why consumers may be receptive is because social media allows you to show that more conversational side to your brand. So I'd said earlier, a lot of businesses who use this space, you can have a bit more fun, be a bit more interactive, have those conversations with your consumers and kind of have it be a level playing field. Sorry, just a text message from my son's GP. So random. It's why I shouldn't be using the phone. Oh well. And I probably need more coffee. Okay, so everyone's laughing at me. I know. These things I should have turned off. Oh well. Okay, so being more conversational. So that's, from a brand business perspective, that's a really great thing about social media, using those platforms. So marketing through social media can obviously help increase your brand recognition. It can increase the visibility of your brand, and that's, if you're doing organic posts or like I'm going to talk about today, using advertising. And it can help increase your inbound traffic, which is really important. Obviously, at the end of the day, I know a lot of businesses, their business goals are for leads or conversions, getting people to their website, and so social media is a great way to do that. You do, keep in mind, need to be creating quality, engaging content to help you drive that traffic. Different social medias channels can help you reach different audiences. So I'm just going to click over to the next slide and then I'll click back. This image is it's not the newest image, but I do love this image because it shows, so there's like Pinterest, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and it just gives you an idea of who's using those channels, why they're using it, et cetera, et cetera. So it's really important that you have an idea of who your target audience is, or your current audience, and what channels are they going to be using, because you want to be sure that you're spending that time, the time that you're spending committing to social media is on the right channels and you're having those right conversations. All right, so social media can be cost effective. So I'll back up one dot point. Target and retarget ideal customers. So that goes back to the ads. And, years ago, I would have said, if someone came to me and said, hey, we need your help with social media, I wouldn't have said, oh, you need to have an advertising budget. Advertising budget was definitely a nice to have, but I think now, if you're going to play in this space, it is a need to have. Think about all the businesses and brands that are utilizing these channels, and you want to be able to send your messages, the right messages, to your right target audience. So knowing who that target audience is, their demographics, what they're interested in, you need to have all of that fleshed out, and then that way when you do spend a bit of money through social ads, you are getting the most bang for your buck. And it is cost effective. So I'm sure many of you have heard me say this before. One of the reasons I love social media advertising is because you can do a lot on a limited budget. Keep in mind, obviously, the minimum budget for social ads is about $1 a day. Say you're running something like a page likes campaign. If you're spending $1 a day, just remember what you're paying for. You're not going to be getting thousands of page likes for that dollar spent. But you can do a lot of testing with a smaller amount of advertising budget. And then once you kind of hone in on what's working and what's resonating with that target audience, you can then up your budget, spend a bit more money, and get some of that return on investment going. So there are a variety of ads you can run, and today obviously I'll be focusing in on the Facebook Pixel because we are kind of have limited time. I am just going to focus on the Facebook Pixel, but definitely jump onto Discord or Twitter. If you have any questions about anything else, I'll be around all day and tomorrow, so I will go ahead and answer those for you. So yeah, we'll talk about Facebook. So what is the Facebook Pixel? For those who don't know what the Pixel is, it's basically a little snippet of code that you pop onto your website, and it collects data from people who are Facebook users, so it can help you track conversions from Facebook ads. It'll help you optimize those ads, build targeted audiences for future ads, and remarket to people who have already taken some kind of action on your website, and I'll talk about that in a few slides as well. So basically, by how it works is it triggers a cookie to track these users as they interact with your website and your Facebook ads. So if you haven't already added to your to-do list for 2020 or this quarter, this week, or today, go ahead and pop on there, install the Facebook Pixel. I do have some quick links, like a slide with quick links, and I'm happy to share that on Discord, Twitter, et cetera, as well for those of you. So I'm not going to get into the technical stuff on how to install the Pixel, but Facebook has a great user guide on how to do that. It's fairly easy and has gotten easier over time. So really easy to pop on your website. even if you're not currently running ads or planning any upcoming campaigns, once installed, it will start collecting data right away. So it just kind of sits in the background, collects that data, starts having a look at the Facebook users that are coming to your website, and that way when you are ready to start that advertising campaign or start your advertising strategy as a whole, you kind of don't have to start from scratch and go, oh, we need to install the pixel and now we got to wait for people to come to the website so I can start retargeting them. You can already have that running in the background. So a few ways you can use the pixel. Conversion tracking. The pixel allows you to see how people interact with your website after viewing a Facebook ad. So an example of this, you can track someone who potentially comes to your website through from their mobile device, and then perhaps they switch to a desktop before they decide to purchase something from your website. This information is really valuable, and it can help pivot your ad strategy as well. One of the things I see a lot with Facebook ads, and especially using the pixel, is we can drive a lot of traffic to the website, but then they're not converting. And by following that customer journey, you can kind of figure out what do we need to change, potentially what do we need to change on the website to get them over the line. So retargeting ads. Retargeting is usually what comes to mind when people talk about the pixel. And it's a very powerful tool. I think everyone should kind of have that as part of their social media advertising, like tool in their little toolbox, one of their tools that they use. From showing people ads who have visited your website, you can do something as broad as that. So it could just be, keeping your brand top of mind. And you can get as granular as showing people specific ads for things that they've abandoned in their cart or added to a wish list. So it's like I said, pretty powerful tool that you can use. Other things you can do, you can create lookalike audiences, which I think over the past few years, Facebook has done really cool things with their lookalike audience. I feel like when I choose that as a target audience, my return on investment is a lot better than what it had been previously. So it's great to see that those lookalike audiences hard at work for your advertising strategy. So you can obviously expand your potential audience by targeting those people who have similar demographics to those users who are already coming to your website or already taking specific actions on your website. You can optimize for conversions. Without the pixel, the only conversion you can really optimize for is clicks. And to some people that may be helpful, but usually I think this day and age, while we're all kind of, social media isn't a new thing. It's been around for quite a long time. We want to do more with the data. We want to see that what we're doing is working. So with the pixel, you can optimize these ads to more closely align with your business goals. So I'd mentioned earlier, is it purchases or leads? Potentially it's newsletter signups, anything like that. Using the pixel can help you get closer to those business goals. You can also optimize for value. So Facebook will be collecting information on who buys, how much they're spending, all of those good little tidbits. Data, everyone loves data. I love data. And this means you can automatically show ads to people who are going to make the most high value purchases. I do have a couple of success stories that I'll share with you, and so we'll talk about optimizing for value when it comes to looking at the New York Times. The other thing you can do is find out cost per lead or cost per conversion. So if you really want to, focus in on what that is, you do need to have the pixel installed. And sorry, I'll go off on a bit of a tangent. Everyone knows I love to go off on a bit of a tangent at times. When it comes to advertising, one of the things I always ask brands or companies I'm working with is how much is that customer or that client or that purchase or that newsletter sign up worth to you. And so by having the pixel, you can start looking at how much it's worth, and then by figuring that out, you can then go, okay, I know that I want to spend this much to get that lead because it's worth this much to my business. So lots you can do with the Pixel. Keep going, yay, events. So once you install the Pixel, there are things that happen called events. So an event is simply a specific action that a visitor takes on your website. So example of this is making a purchase, adding something to a cart. Automatic events are actions that your Facebook Pixel receives and that you don't have to do any other work to see what they are. So you don't have to install any other code. Facebook is already collecting these things in the back end. Your Pixel receives these actions through visitor activity and by using information on your website to understand the context better associated with these actions. So it's automatic events. There's standard events and custom events. So when one of these actions occurs, so obviously purchasing, adding something to the cart, your Facebook Pixel fires and logs it as an event. So events can either take place as a result of a Facebook ad or organic reach. So if you've got some organic content and you're using advertising to complement what you're pushing out on your Facebook page, or if you just have purely an ad campaign running, that's when the Facebook Pixel will fire. There are two categories for these events. So there's standard and custom. There are 17 standard events predefined by Facebook, and I have a slide on those again, and I have something in the quick link so you guys can have a look at those 17 events because I don't expect you to memorize them. I've been using Pixels for a while. I still don't have them all memorized. So we'll jump to those in a second. Custom events are actions that fall kind of outside of the 17 predefined events by Facebook. And you can give them a unique name to represent the action they're taking. You can use custom events to build custom audiences. A custom event will provide you with insights on the event, but not measurement, optimization, or targeting. So Facebook does recommend that you kind of have a look at the standard events first and try to use those before having a play around with custom events. So standard event. Standard Pixel events. So on this slide, here are those 17 standard events. So I've got, it's a bit far away, I think I might need glasses, Robina. Add payment info, you can add to basket, add to wish list, completing a registration, clicking on the contact, customer, or customize a product, donate, find location, a lead purchase, schedule, search, start a trial. So again, lots of standard events that could potentially cover, what your business goals or advertising goals are. So like I said, have a look at those first before you think of, we need to create a custom event. Basically, standard events are the language that Facebook's machine learning models use to unlock powerful and targeting optimization, measurement, and insight opportunities. Some best practices when you're looking at these standard events. I'm actually going to take a pause because I just need a bit of coffee. All right. So best practices when it comes to your standard Pixel events. So determine what your business goals are. Really try to have that quite clear. As many of you know, when it comes to Facebook advertising, it's kind of you pick one objective. So you want to be sure that if your business goal is, for example, video views, that's what you've selected within the objectives. It's not going to be reach because you're really wanting to target people who are going to watch videos. Consider the path that your customer is going to take within your website to accomplish these goals. I think one thing that people sometimes forget is thinking about the number of clicks it takes for your potential customer, your customer to complete that goal. So you want to make it as easy as possible for them to, potentially go from organic piece of content or, in this case, an ad to your website not too many clicks to finish what they are doing. So I don't usually have like a standard number of clicks, but I would say ideally anything, well, you've got 1 click from the ad, so 3 to 4 clicks maybe at most. But yeah, if you can keep that number as small as possible, that's always great, and always encourages people to quickly get to that goal. Select corresponding standard events. So again, using those 17 options from Facebook that you can use for targeting optimization measurement. And if you wish to measure across an app, web, and offline, try to be consistent with the events that you're picking. Use the ads reporter to understand that customer journey and what it looks like. So I am going to jump into a couple of success stories. These are, I think the New York Times one's been around for a bit, but it's one that I refer to quite often. So I think the way that they did or have you use the pixel is really great. Even though it's advertising on social media, I think without understanding your customer journey or your target audiences, it's really hard to create an ad that's just sell, sell, sell. At the end of the day, social is meant to be social. So even though you're using advertising, you want to be sure that you're putting that right messaging in front of the right people. So with the New York Times, their main goal is raising readership with relevancy. They wanted to turn readers into subscribers, which I know a lot of news outlet medias want to do. So they wanted to build an even stronger relationship with readers, increase those subscribers by understanding how people consume the New York Times content, and engage with the occasional Times readers interesting and tailored news content. It also wanted to be sure to send compelling subscription offers to those people who have a high propensity to subscribe, so those people who probably are willing to go ahead and spend that little bit more money to get a subscription to their platform. So their solution, promoting content to the right people. So within this slide, I'm not sure if you can see it, but again, can send all of this out to you guys with the screenshots. The Times marketing team built a detailed model of readers' behaviors based on that were most correlated with subscriptions. This information enabled the publisher to better segment its readership into occasional readers, and then readers who are slightly more engaged, and then those regular online readers. And so from what you can see, so I think the ad with the gentleman bowing, we'll do that one because I don't know left and right what you guys are saying. Occasional readers see content recommendations with articles from sections of the Times website that they potentially have already visited. These people are likely not ready to pay for a subscription yet, so the point is to encourage them to take a no commitment action, just heading back to the paper's website to read more content. And this really is just focusing on building that relationship with their readers through social media, and keeping in the back of their mind that this may lead to a sale down the road. But it's all about nurturing. So we talk about social being social, but it's also an opportunity for brands and companies and businesses to nurture that audience. And again, this is why it's so important to understand your demographic, your target demographic, or anyone who is coming to your social platform, like what part of the customer journey are they, and what are the touch points you can use to nurture them and kind of guide them through the customer funnel. So the middle ad there is shown to readers who are slightly more engaged with the paper. I think I'm getting really close to the camera. Who are engaged with the paper, so they get offers for low commitment free subscription products, potentially newsletters, or some of the apps that they have on offer. So it's their ad would be not a hard call to action to subscribe, but something a little bit softer. So then the last ad, where you've got the women lined up just the back of their heads, regular online readers who are definitely more willing to pay for a subscription, these are the type of the ads that they would see, just with that harder call to action about subscribing. And these subscription offers could be customized on the reader's interested topics, things like that. So all of that they would be tracking through the Facebook pixel. So the next success story, MeUndies. I actually had not heard of this brand previously, but I think what they have done with the Pixel and their website's pretty cool. So their goal, they wanted to re-engage people who had added items to their shopping cart, but then abandoned the site or hadn't made that purchase yet. So I think a lot of people, there is a lot of that abandoned cart. I know I see it in my Facebook feed with some of the things that I'm purchasing. I know online purchasing may have increased for some of you who are staying at home and attached to your phone looking for things to buy. But yeah, so MeUndies, their solution, obviously precision retargeting. So they used a variety of dynamic ads in combination with the data that they were able to get from the Facebook pixel to serve ads promoting to the exact product sitting in the abandoned cart. This just kind of provides that nudge that those customers may need to purchase. And you can even offer an incentive, so a discount when they come back, if it's, percentage off postage or free postage, anything like that, anything to entice them to finish that purchase on their website. So once MeUndies, I think I'm saying that right, MeUndies, implemented this strategy, from what I've read, Facebook advertising became their top source of new customer acquisition, which is really great. So they created 3 different target segments, people who added something to their basket within the last 7 days, people who added something to their basket between 8 and 14 days, and then people who added something to their basket between 15 and 30 days. They further segmented the campaign by national and international customers so that they could reach the right audience with the right offer. And they tested a variety of different adverts and offered, like free domestic postage for domestic customers. International shoppers got, I think they got a few extra pairs of undies thrown in, but everyone needs undies, right? So some of those things that they did to entice those people to come back and finish purchasing from their website. I think I'm running a bit early. There are a lot of questions. Well, that's good. Like I said, some quick links. Again, we'll send these out. Obviously, I just covered Facebook today. I think it would have been a lot to cover kind of Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Snapchat, all the social channels, Pinterest as well. And I've got a couple of links to success stories. So we'll be sure that you guys get all of this information. I know this is just a bit of like a dip in the toe for advertising. I think I could talk on and on and on and on and about all the different things you can do. But hopefully from this a little presentation and you guys, can start getting, for those of you who aren't using the Pixel, can start getting comfortable with the idea of having the Pixel there to complement what you're already doing on within your social media strategy, be it organically or through ads. And then for those of you who are already using the Pixel, just making sure that you are taking advantage of everything that each of the platform offers with that Pixel to maximize, your advertising spend and any resources you are using for social. Yeah, we have lots of time.
Yeah, we've got like 50 million questions that you need to answer now.
Geez, okay.
Yeah, so just as well.
All right, let me grab my coffee. Hold on.
Yeah, you're going to need that.
Okay.
Okay. Hey guys, I'm back. Excuse me. I have got some of the questions here. If you're continuing to ask questions, Andrea, if you could just take some photos of the questions while we're still talking, and we'll swap phones and keep answering the questions. Let's start with the first one from Belle. Thanks.
Hi, Belle.
Belle's actually got a series.
Woo! Okay.
So we're going to go through. Isn't this fun? Normally in the auditorium we don't.
We aren't able to get a lot of questions. All right, so if I can't answer your questions straight away. I will get back to you. I'll jump on Discord, like I said.
Yeah. So, first question from Belle. Just going from my own buyer behaviour,
Yep.
have you seen a big shift from desktop to mobile conversions? Or are people viewing via mobile, then shifting to desktop to act on the purchases?
From my experience, what I've seen is it depends on the purchase, right? Depends on the value of the purchase. So if it's something that a lot of people may not think about, so say it's like, okay, focus group of one, but obviously Rabina and I had kids last year. That's why we weren't part of the event. Yeah, but obviously I do a lot of shopping for Brayden, and so if I'm making those smaller purchases, and I see this a lot with other advertising campaigns I'm working with. If it's a smaller purchase and people are comfortable with making that purchase straight away on their phone, yep, that conversion will happen there. If it's a bigger purchase, so say it's...
holiday to Kangaroo Island, for example.
I was going to
P.S.
say...
Kangaroo Island needs your tourism dollars.
Yeah, I was going to say, if it is booking something that's potentially in the hundreds of dollars, people will, they will go there on a mobile device, but then they are coming back on a desktop because they are most likely wanting to do a bit of research before committing that money. Unless you have like crazy amounts of unlimited like disposable income, that's usually the pattern that I see what happens. So it just depends on the value of
I'm gonna say in my experience too, I've seen something very, very similar. Like we do see a lot, certainly at C-Link we do see a lot of mobile traffic and conversion with mobile traffic. But it tends to be more for the simple kind of holiday. I'm just booking point-to-point ferry, from Cape Jervis to Penashore and back again. People who are tending to book their packages and all that kind of thing, we see a shift towards desktop, and it's because there's a lot of options, Like we've got over 100 accommodation providers on the site. It's a lot of accommodation to sift through. So,
and usually,
it takes time to research that.
Yeah, and usually, like if it is something like that, a holiday, they may be wanting to sit down with their partner, two people looking at a bigger screen to go, no.
Definitely. Next question for Belle. It's kind of on a tangent.
Okay. I love a good tangent. Everyone knows that.
Are e-news still a valuable comms tool? I barely read them anymore.
Oh, I think they are. I think, obviously that's not quite social media, but I love a good newsletter. I think one thing you really need to understand about e-news is, again, it all comes back to understanding your target audience. This is a conversation I was having with someone earlier this week. It's like, what is the lifespan of a subscriber to your email list? So if you understand that and you know that, a subscriber only stays with us for 3 months and then they're out, I think that can kind of help you figure out what kind of content and things like that. But yeah, it just depends. Not everyone is an e-news reader, and you're obviously Belle, not one of them. Again, focus group of one, I love a good newsletter, so I do read through a lot where, I do look over my husband's shoulder when he's on digital marketing just to see what he's doing, and he just deletes everything. And it's like, why did you read that? Or he'll say, where did you find that information? I'm like, oh, that newsletter we got. So yeah, it all depends, and it's really understanding your target audience. I'm trying to think of, are there any brands I've worked with where the newsletter wasn't a primary marketing tool. I'm sure there have been a few, and that's probably where we've leaned on social or advertising a bit more than a newsletter.
I think that one of the challenges with email, and this is certainly a topic that we'll get into a lot more tomorrow with Digital Adelaide, so stay tuned for that. But your inbox now, if you've got a Gmail inbox, mine's all split up. Like there's priority, there's updates, there's promotions, and then there's social tab. Yeah. So anytime that I'm receiving an email from a company now, it's not appearing in my primary inbox. It just goes off to one of these other ones. So I think that that's an interesting challenge as well in terms of trying to get your message through to the consumer. So again, a topic for tomorrow.
One thing I do want to say on that though is, having if you do have a really robust or great newsletter list, I mean, you can use that in advertising. So think of it as like a two-pronged approach. If you send out a newsletter, you can run ads to, granted your your subscriber base has to be 1,000 or more, 1,000 more Facebook users. But you can then show them that same content from the newsletter within their feed. So those people who are opening it, and you can kind of close that loop, who are opening it and reading it, then it's kind of keeping them top of mind within the socials.
And now, next question from Belle. When it comes to events, and we're talking not events on the Pixel, actual events.
Like real life events.
Like real life events, like going to see the Air Force Base Open Day or whatever, that sort of thing, or any of those awesome operation stuff. If anyone hasn't checked out Belinda's work, she's like fantastic. And Belle, one day we're going to get you up here to talk as well. But when it comes to those actual events, what platform do you think performs best for ad spend in terms of actually getting people to come? So not just awareness of, hey, we're hosting this event, but convincing them that they should actually physically buy a ticket or physically turn up if it's a free event or whichever.
Again, like this, I feel like I'm a bit on repeat, but it's really understanding who your audience is and what they're doing within the digital space. I've worked with some brands where they do have these offline events, and we found that having that extra bit of spend for Facebook advertising has worked, and it's actually got them to purchase a ticket and show up. Whereas some other brands, companies I've worked for, that's not necessarily the case. We've had to go, okay, maybe we need to increase the Google ad spend, or send out. In some cases, there was one brand, it was like send out a few more newsletters, because we found the newsletters actually converted them. And it's one of those things, I do think Adelaide's people in Adelaide do this, and I know I do this as well. It's like you kind of wait till the last minute to commit.
That's why we don't get the big bands coming here. Because they're like, we can't take a risk that Adelaide's going to purchase all the tickets the day before.
Hey, we will. So it's just understanding, your customer and what they do and their process to booking in a ticket as well.
This one comes from Natalie Giles. So, hi Natalie, how's it going? Question for Jen. Is there an average budget you would recommend for a small business starting up for social media ads? And would you recommend spending that across all platforms?
No.
Or just one or two?
Don't spend it across all platforms. I would say if you're just kind of dipping your toe into ads, start with one platform, understand it, get it down, do it well, and then expand to another platform. Because once there is that blue boost button on Fast. Stay away from the blue boost button. Once you actually get into the back end of Facebook ads, it's like mind blown, all the things you can do. And so I think a lot of the platforms are the same. It's just like so much information. So really focus in on one before you kind of try to tackle them all. And then ad spend, that's a hard one. I work with some brands that they can only do $50 a month. Ideally, you're spending a bit more than that. I would say if you've got to start $200 to $300 kind of set aside to do a few things, that would be great. But again, I know not all small businesses starting out have that. So one of the things I mentioned earlier that I do love about social media advertising is you can start doing testing on a smaller budget. You just really need to understand who you're going to talk to and using the back end bits of the advertising platform to really target in on demographics and interests and things like that.
Which actually is perfect that you talked about the blue boost button, because it feeds straight into Judy Way's question.
Judy!
Hi Judy. Is creating ads in Ad Manager for events better than simply boosting an event on Facebook? I've been creating ads, but boosting's a lot faster. It's true. Boosting is a lot faster. I feel like the boost button is really there for Facebook in that they're trying to get to people who might just be a small business owner who don't have marketing experience. And then it's like, here's a really easy way for me to just push the event and spend some money. And then Facebook are like, thank you very much. It's very easy user experience to take your money for Facebook advertising. So I think that's where the boost post sort of is of value, I guess, in some respects. To those people who don't have marketing experience or communications experience.
Potentially don't have the time to understand everything.
Exactly, that too. I think that's kind of where this boost post button really fits in.
The blue button.
But you are better off if you're wanting to actually control the audiences more, have a stronger look at when you go through the Facebook ads right at the beginning, there's a ton of objectives you can choose from, whether it's engaging with the post or, you want to increase likes on your page or watch a video, visit the website or whatever. So depending on what objective you pick right at the top will influence how it kind of serves out, and then it's going to spend your money more optimally, which then comes back again to those tight SME budgets where you might only have $50 a month to play with.
I actually have an example. This happened with a client that I was working with a few weeks ago. I'd set up, again, time poor, so that's why I'm helping her, but set up a campaign for people to book in with her for her service. Obviously, that objective was website traffic, and so I had been running an ad, and it was getting click-throughs, which was great. But then I think she used the blue boost button and basically copied and pasted the ad on the Facebook page and boosted the button, and it was just like, oh, what's happening here? And one of the things that I had to explain to her was like, while the blue boost button can be useful, she said, oh, look, it's getting a lot more engagement on the post. And I'm like, but that engagement isn't equating to booking in. So actually targeting website, using the objective website traffic and using a bit more of the specialized targeting to the back end, she was seeing more click-throughs and more conversions through the ad. So then we turned off that blue.
Kayshawn basically came in with that same point as your client, that she's used the boost button a couple of times and got better results. But again, it depends. Like if you are just looking for that engagement on the post, then, I guess you could probably take the shortcut if you wanted to. But if you're looking for other objectives or making sure that you're engaging with the right people and not just, kind of a broader audience, if you want to engage, with a more narrow audience or only on specific, you only want to do Facebook placements, you don't want Instagram placements as well.
Or that ad won't look great within Instagram stories or anything like that.
Exactly right. So I think that's the other thing to consider is looking at the actual creative and the content and how is this actually going to appear for Instagram, because that's the other thing too, which I don't think you mentioned in your press.
No.
But when you get through Ads Manager and you're looking at the ad placements, Facebook Ad Manager is actually managing your Instagram ads as well. So, looking at, okay, well, this photo looks awesome on Facebook. It is garbage for stories because it is not vertical. Like that sort of thing. So those are the types of things to consider.
Yeah, and Facebook gives you that opportunity to change the image around. So it is good to become comfortable with the platform.
Bell's asked, are there any awesome online ad manager training sessions online? Facebook, well, I mean, you've got Facebook.
Well,
we're
Facebook,
print.
yeah. I mean, I think that's that's coming straight from the horse's mouth.
Yeah.
I'll have to think about that one and do a bit of sussing around for you, Belle.
Yeah, we'll get back to you on that one.
Yeah.
Okay, I think there was one more question here. What are your thoughts on having multiple authors on a Facebook page, e.g. more than 15? So this comes from Eve Gregory. Eve, I'm pretty sure you're from City of Port Adelaide, Enfield Libraries. Versus just having a couple. Is it more important to have a diversity of content at various quality levels or to have clear, consistent messaging?
I think it's important to have diversity of content, but that also goes back to understanding who is engaging with your Facebook page. You want to have a good content mix. It also depends on what's happening within your business. Or did you say she was from the library? Yeah. Obviously, there's a lot happening with libraries, what you can and can't do, and things like that. So I like to see a good content mix within the Facebook page because, at the end of the day, and I know a lot of you know this, you could have 10,000 fans, but all those 10,000 fans aren't seeing your content every time you post something. So you want to be sure that you're, you have a variety of content so that people who, want to see specific things, that's showing up in their feed. But we can chat more about that on Discord.
And I've got one more question here, and it looks like more questions here. So we'll take an extra few minutes because I know we're coming up to break time, and I'm sure you're all dying for that third round of coffee.
Yes.
So I'll get to that other question in a sec. But just this one here from Christy and Kayshawn. So Kayshawn said, what drives me crazy is when you get remarketed products that you have actually bought. oh my God, I'm on the same page.
Yes.
Oh, it is frustrating.
Yeah.
Because when you work in the background, you know how easy it is to just put an exclusion. So easy.
Yeah.
But anyway, so then Christy then goes on to say, me too. Question for Jen. Do the incorrect remarketing ads suggest a problem with the choice of ad used or a glitch in the machine learning? I'm going to say user error.
Yeah. My gut feeling is user error. Oh, she's going to text you that. Yeah. So for those of you who are, going to start using the Pixel and start creating those ad campaigns, just be sure you understand that journey that your potential customer is going to take. And once they have finished what you want them to do, you want to be sure, they aren't being remarketed, because it does. I think it drives all of us nuts. Be like, I have just purchased that. Why are you showing me an ad for it?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say user error.
I would say so. Or it may be that they've got so many campaigns running that they can't actually keep track of what's going on.
Yeah.
Thank you, Andrea. And this one from Missy. Hi, Missy. How's it going?
Missy.
Loved your pic on Twitter, by the way. You look very comfortable. So. A place I worked for kept having an event issue come up via Ads Manager where the add to cart said it wasn't firing correctly. We had difficulty trying to troubleshoot this. Have you ever had something similar, and how do you even start troubleshooting? Is it a website back-end thing or an Ads Manager thing?
In those instances, I would pick up the phone and call Ryan.
I actually, no, seriously, in all seriousness, I would also call Ryan too.
Yeah.
Hey, Ryan, this doesn't work.
Help.
And then Ryan will say, yes, I can spot you in, and then it'll cost you X. But no, seriously, contact a professional.
Yeah, I think...
contact the Refuel team. They'll fix it for you.
Yeah. I think I fortunately haven't had any issues with that, or if I have, I think I've been able to work with kind of the website team to figure out what's happening. I don't usually find it's the pixel itself. It's something on the website that is not
connected correctly,
yeah.
or not set up correctly. If you're using Google Tag Manager to manage these pixels and any other remarketing pixels or tagging or anything like that, that's something that you can learn. And it is a fairly straightforward interface to use even as a marketer. However, if the code you've input is off by one space, it may be that literally there's a space in there that doesn't need to be. That'll usually break it. But as when you're not a developer, you won't see that because you don't know. So ultimately, I think contact an expert like Ryan and the team at Refuel.